What is going on, everybody? Mark Birdie, host of Breakthrough Success here, and this is going to be our second solo Saturday episode. In case you guys don't know about solo Saturday episodes, it's a tradition we started as soon as we hit 500 episodes for Breakthrough Success. So every Saturday I come on and I just share some insights. In the previous solo Saturday, we talked about virtual summits and just the whole business model behind them. So in this solo Saturday episode, we're going to talk about omnipresence, because you may notice some influencers or some brands who just seem to be crushing it on every single social network. They have a ton of YouTube subscribers. They have a ton of Instagram followers. They have a ton of people in their Facebook groups. They have a ton of people on all these different social networks, all engaging with their content. How do these people do it? So that's what we're going to be talking about in this episode. And if you guys have any questions about any of this stuff, or you want to chat, make sure you email me, mark@markguberti.com, because I definitely love to hear from you guys. So with omnipresence, the basic idea is that you have to create content on these platforms. That's going to be the only way that it's possible for you to get noticed. It's like, if you create content and you don't optimize it, well, at least you have a chance. But if you don't create content on these platforms, you're not even giving yourself a chance to get noticed. We'll jump into optimization a little bit later. But the content type that you want to focus on for omnipresence is video. And I bring this up because video is the most engaging form of content, and there are some platforms that you can only do video. So YouTube, you can only do video. And other social networks, even though like Facebook, you could do any type of post. Instagram, you can do a picture and you don't have to have a video. All of these social networks are giving extra priority to videos in their algorithms, because that's the stuff that keeps people on the platforms. On YouTube, it's very common for me to put up a video and people watch it for 3 minutes or 5 minutes, depending on how long it is. And that's not the type of engagement that you normally get in one Instagram post. So video is going to be a core part of the majority of omnipresent strategies. And video is also a really great way to sell. Video is a great way to build your platform. So it is something that you should get that into the habit of doing more of. So if you're camera shy, you could start off with audio like this. Maybe you just have a static image that pops up and you're able to put that into YouTube. There's a great resource actually called Repurpose.io, which we will throw a link into in the show notes. That is a really great resource for taking your audio and automatically turning it into video. And it's really great if you are camera shy, or if you just produce so much content that you don't really have enough time to upload videos to YouTube or things of that nature. So if you are not camera shy and you have time, I would definitely recommend that you do face-to-face, you do put yourself in the camera, because it will help with the engagement of your videos. And each video will just allow you to get better at the process. So once we have the videos, what do we do next? We are posting these videos on YouTube. It's good to post videos also on Facebook and Instagram. The reason I'm not doing that as much right now is that the YouTube videos are very specific to YouTube. So for instance, in the videos, I'm saying things like subscribe to my YouTube channel. And subscribe to my YouTube channel, that call to action in an Instagram video, that just doesn't mesh as well. So that'll be more of like a follow me on Instagram. So maybe for video, you start with focusing on one platform and then you gradually build. Gradually building is going to be a big theme throughout this whole omnipresence game. So ways that we can create more content, because you do need more content to be omnipresent. Take the videos that you have, take good quotes from those videos, and even just overall themes. And those could be your Instagram pictures that you create in Canva. Those could be your Facebook posts. Those can be your tweets. Those can also be pictures that you put up on Pinterest. All you really have to do, the difference between Instagram and Pinterest: Instagram is a square picture. Pinterest is a long rectangle. So if you're able to just copy and paste the word text into a pre-made rubric for Instagram pictures and for Pinterest pictures, it's just easier to get on those platforms. So the big thing here that we're jumping into already is that you're not creating unique content for every single platform. You're taking your existing content and just finding ways to repurpose it across a variety of platforms. And you can do a little bit of unique content on Instagram. Like you could do quotes even outside of your videos, like themes, as we mentioned earlier, but these don't take too much time, and you already have a rubric picture. So all my quote pictures, they follow the same rubric. It's not like I'm spending 30 minutes to create an Instagram picture. I just get the quote, copy and paste the text, and that's my image. So it's not just creating a ton of content, but it's also about making it easy for you to create that content, because content creation is just one part of this omnipresence strategy. And if you spend all the time creating content, you face a common challenge people face, which is, well, where's my ROI? Where's my time that I would be spending writing my book, creating my training course, getting new clients? And content helps you with all of those things, but you can't just be creating free content all the time. There's other things you have to do with your business, social media, even different social networks. Those are all just parts of your business. They're not your whole business. You still have to make the revenue that you need to make to pay people on your team if you have a team, or to pay your bills. So you always have to think about generating the revenue. So we want to create content, put it on all these platforms, but we want to make it as quick as possible for us to actually create the content and then spread it out on all of these platforms. So we're going to go back to the gradual point, because a lot of people, the thing that a lot of people do that messes them up is that they will look at this influencer, they will look at this company, and this person is good on all these different social networks. And then you go ahead and you create social media handles on all these different places. You try to be active on all of them at once, and then it just does not work, because you get overwhelmed. You realize that, wow, I still need to make revenue. And then it's just a mess. So the thing we mentioned earlier was gradual, to approach social media omnipresence in a gradual way. So think about all the different social networks you want to grow on and just really hone in on one of them. So when I first got started, Twitter was that one that I honed in on, and I was able to grow my audience big time on that platform. Then I expanded into other social networks, and that's how I've been able to gain that omnipresence factor. So when you start with one social network and really take the time to master that one platform, it makes it easier to grow on other social networks. It's really different trying to grow on a new platform if you just have small audiences scattered all over the place, versus if you have one platform that you have 1,000 followers on, 10,000 followers on, 100,000 followers on. It's a really big difference. You're able to have that audience follow you on the other platform versus feeling like you're always having to start through scratch and you feel overwhelmed with all the social media responsibilities that come with this idea of being omnipresent. So omnipresence, it is something you have to build up to, and there are ways to accelerate it, which pretty much means you just throw money at it. So if you want to grow on any social network faster, you can run ads. And not all ads are effective. You got to look at your own data. You got to see what the results bring. One thing that I've been doing on Instagram that's been working really well for me is actually to pay micro influencers. So we're not talking about someone who has 1 million followers. We're talking about someone who has a super small but super engaged community. So we're talking about the people who have like maybe 5,000, 10,000, maybe 20,000 followers, and they have a ton of engagement for each of their posts. Now, the thought on, we're just going to mention Instagram in particular here because it's a special case. So if you want to, follow me on Instagram, if that's your call to action, which that was my call to action for the first campaign I did, where I got micro influencers involved. If you want to say just like follow me on Instagram, then anyone works here. The 5,000 follower person, the 10,000 follower person, the 20,000 follower person, as long as they have an engaged audience and it's in the same niche. And in my experience, it doesn't really cost that much. Like you could probably get in someone's Instagram story for like $5 if they have 5,000 people, and even 10,000 followers. Some of those people you get into their stories for as little as $5. It depends on how much they charge. Generally, the more sponsors an account gets, the higher they charge, just because they have an idea of what to charge. While other accounts who don't get as many sponsors, they're more likely to charge something low, like a $5 or a $10, even if they are getting a ton of engagement. If you want to lead people to a website, though, or to an opt-in page, and we're talking Instagram specific here, then you're going to want to target the accounts that have at least 10,000 followers, because then they get swipe up capabilities. And if you're an account with 5,000 followers, you don't have swipe up. So from your standpoint, paying these influencers to promote you, you would want the swipe up if you're leading someone to any type of website or opt-in page, just to reduce the friction between a follower seeing the story and visiting your website. So if you do want to speed up Omnipresence, you just throw money at it, whether it's ads, micro influencers, or something else. You can also put a ton of time into it. You could do a lot of commenting. You could come out with a lot of content, but it's really just going to come down to you putting in the time or you spending in the money to speed up the process. Either way, you definitely have to be patient with this, and you do have to approach gradually. And as you see more success on your social networks, and maybe you've added 2 or 3 to the mix that you're taking seriously, this is when you start building the bridges. So on my YouTube channel, at the bottom left of all of my videos right now is my Instagram username. I want people who are watching my YouTube videos to go over and follow me on Instagram. I want them to subscribe to my YouTube channel too. And I do have that call to action spread out throughout the video, but I also want them to follow me on Instagram. Because if someone is following me on YouTube and they're following me on Instagram, that gives me more chances to show up on their smartphone. If you are someone who is super successful on Instagram, no matter how good your content is, nobody's going to see it if they're all in the YouTube app in that moment. So when you connect things together, you build those types of bridges, that's going to help you. Like, you're going to see the same people pop up over and over again. You're going to see the same people commenting on your YouTube videos, and they're going to also like and comment on your Instagram posts. This is how you build a really loyal tribe, know, like, trust to that next level, because people are seeing you all over the place. And Instagram, I do the same thing. I want people to follow me on Instagram. I mentioned that call to action, but every time I come out with a new video, I'm telling my Instagram followers, hey, check me out on YouTube. And right now, as of this Solo Saturday episode, the link to my Instagram is my YouTube channel. And that will eventually be changed with an opt-in page, something where someone subscribes, enter their email address, and there's more revenue potential instead of a long-term play. But the idea is that I'm using my example here, but you could use this for yourself. You're using YouTube to grow your Instagram. When you grow your Instagram in this way, you are bringing outside visitors to your Instagram, and the algorithm on Instagram is going to boost your post a little bit. You're going to get a little extra exposure because you're getting a few extra likes per post. You're getting a few extra comments. You're getting a few extra of those good signals that Instagram likes. So because of the YouTube traffic, you're getting that extra engagement on Instagram. And now people who never heard of you, they're first discovering you on Instagram. And then you post the Instagram story about your YouTube video, and now you've got those extra people who never heard of you, who first follow you on Instagram, to now head over to your YouTube channel and subscribe. And now you have outside traffic coming into YouTube who are subscribing to your channel, watching your videos, liking your videos, commenting on your videos, doing all those things that YouTube loves. And you're going to get an algorithm boost on YouTube. So you see how there's a positive continuous loop here where you're bringing outside traffic from one platform to the other, and it's an endless reciprocation. And when you add other platforms into the mix, like the Breakthrough Success podcast for me, this could be for you, a Facebook group. That would be a next logical step because Facebook groups, it's the only way to really win organically on Facebook. And you can ask questions in the Facebook group where you get people's email addresses and you are able to build your list. And this just keeps on snowballing. So it's one of those things where you might see some results, some small results when you're first starting out, but it's compound interest pretty much. So when you have thousands of followers on each of these platforms, you're going to get dozens of daily followers. That is going to turn into hundreds of daily followers. And then you're going to be at the point where any new social network you decide to go on, you will have an instant surge of thousands of new followers and a ton of engagement straight out of the gate on this new social network. And what do you think that's going to do for you on that social network's algorithm? That you created a new account, you already got thousands of followers, you already brought thousands of people from outside traffic to their platform. What do you think that's going to do for you from an algorithm standpoint? And then what do you think that algorithm boost is going to do for your other social networks? This is how people become omnipresent. And when you create content in a strategic way, where you are creating things that based on how past content has performed through your platforms and through other people's platforms, the content is more likely to be successful. And then you do have these bridges in effect. This is exactly how people end up becoming omnipresent. And for most people, it's not like they become successful on all the social networks at the same time. It's a buildup. Back when Vine was a social network, you had a lot of people who they didn't have audiences on any other platform, and all of a sudden they would blow up on Vine. This is similar to what's been happening to people on TikTok. TikTok isn't for everyone, it isn't for me, but it is similar to what's been happening on TikTok. So a lot of the people who used Vine, and they had the blow up, and they got millions of followers, and they don't have any followers on any of their other platforms. Like they became Vine famous, which was a term before, obviously, Vine isn't around anymore. But what happened is that these people were very quick to build their bridges. So the massive surge in Vine followers, they got a massive boost in Twitter followers, massive boost in Instagram followers, massive boost in Facebook followers. I don't think there were too many of these people who were doing Pinterest to build the bridge there, but a lot of them built bridges to Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, so that when Vine became defunct, they still had that audience. And if people just relied on Vine, who became Vine famous, they would all of a sudden have no audience, have to start from square one, even though at one point they did have millions of followers. So part of the reason why it's important to build these bridges is because a social network, while most of them I expect they're just going to stick around, like I don't see Twitter like shutting down at all, or Facebook shutting down at all, or Instagram shutting down. It's very realistic to see an algorithm shift where Instagram says, okay, let's push the paid content. Let's increasingly become paid to play. And this isn't far-fetched at all because Facebook, that is literally Facebook's model right now. Facebook pages used to be really great, but now you have to pay to play. It's not like you can post something organically anymore on Facebook and expect people to see it. They shifted to pay to play. And the same thing can happen on any social network, which is why you build these bridges and then you're able to grow on all the social networks that you are a part of. It starts gradually. That's because you don't want to get overwhelmed with the content creation. If you have to create content every single day for 2 social networks, that's not overwhelming. If you have to create content every day for 5, 10 social networks, that's overwhelming. And I know I mentioned earlier, video is the backbone. Video is the thing we start with. But we're just talking 1 short video a day, Maybe if you want to do just like a weekly video or 2 or 3, whatever pace you're comfortable with. But for the pictures, you're just taking an existing rubric and you're just slapping new text on it. So it's not too difficult to be daily on 2 social networks. When you add it to 5, when you add it to 10, that gets more overwhelming. That's when you have to start thinking about delegation. Because if you have the social networks, they're like the bridges have been built and you're growing on each of them, this is your time to focus more on the other stuff. This is your time to add social network number 3 or 4 or 5 into the mix, depending on how many you currently have. This is your time to think now about monetization. Because if you grow so much on these platforms, but you miss the opportunity to make money, then you have a time-consuming hobby. You have to make money from all this effort you're putting in for it to be worth it, because we look at things from an ROI perspective. The time you put in, what kind of money are you getting out? If you're investing money in the micro influencers, and I don't call them that insultingly, like having thousands of followers and having that engagement, like micro influencer is just a term in the marketplace to describe that type of person. But if you're throwing money into micro influencers, you're throwing money into advertisements, you have to get money out of that in return. So this is where you have to promote products as an affiliate or your own products. You have to get people on your email list. The email list is the most important asset because, again, Vine, no more. Email list is going to be forever, though. Because let's say something like a MailChimp like suddenly shuts down, which, again, I doubt that's going to happen. You still have all of your email subscribers. You can move them to another platform and you can continue to engage with them. And it's not like anyone's going to come in, like any type of algorithm is going to stop you from emailing your people. It's just your message appearing in their inbox. And it's not like any type of algorithm update is going to like make the inbox pay to play or anything of that nature. So the email list is the one audience you truly own. So as you're building the bridges, make sure you are building bridges to that opt-in that is going to grow your email list. Because when you have 10,000 people on your email list, that gives you an instant head start on any new post. So any new YouTube video that's hundreds of views right from the get-go, which really sets you up for that video to outperform and do well in the algorithm. So building those bridges is really important for omnipresence. And then it's just a matter of continuing to experiment with this and see what's working for other people. There is hashtag research that you can do on Instagram, but one of the things that I find very useful is to look at the most successful accounts in my industry and see what hashtags they are using. They do the research for you, and you just compile a list of hashtags that you use. For YouTube, look at the most popular videos on other people's channels who are in your industry, and create videos around those topics, because the most popular content for someone else, that is giving you a really strong indicator of what type of content can take your channel to the next level. And using tools like vidIQ and TubeBuddy for YouTube for keyword optimization is going to help also. So yes, there is keyword optimization. There is the hashtag research, depending on which platform you're using. And that stuff is important. But as you continue to produce more content and you continue to build those bridges, that's how you become omnipresent. So if you guys have any questions about how to become omnipresent, or you want me to assist you with your social media from a coaching role or to help you out a little bit, make sure you jump on a free strategy call with me, which is markberry.com/strategy. We will talk about your business. We will see how we can possibly work together. And thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Until the next one, dream big, achieve greatness, and unlock your potential today.